Hello everyone, and this is my review for Monday Night Raw on September 15th, 2014. And of course this is the go-home show right before the Night of Champions pay-per-view. And all I can say is, wow, the build-up to Night of Champions, outside of a couple of really good feuds, really fell short in any way of building, and in some cases just built stories and matches way too quickly. And also, just with some other cases, just really bad feuding to begin with. The segments that they've done recently with Dolph Ziggler and The Miz, I think they have fallen well short. I do like the whole double, stunt double type deal that both of them are running at this moment, but like the segment last week was just absolutely awful. The announcers this week with trying to tell the two apart, was that portion of that was just completely awful during that during the tag match with R-Truth or Ziggler and Dolph Ziggler and Miz and Damien Mizdow. Overall, I felt I feel like they've fallen well short with the Miz and Dolph Ziggler's build going into this match. I mean, the match itself should be a lot of fun, and honestly, this entire pay-per-view is falling under what I call, or what I used to call, a TNA complex. And that is where the matches will be entertaining to watch, but the stories building up to those matches were very bad. Good example, the way they try to intertwine the Bellas feud with AJ and Paige, I feel like that has completely thrown those entire storylines and everything off kilter. It's not really clicking all that well. It would have been better if they kept it as a singles feud in that sense. The deal that they were going with the whole night with Cena going up against, or Cena wanting his fight with Brock Lesnar, and he captures Paul Heyman and then puts him in his locker room. He's like, he has till halftime. It's like, halftime of what? Are you talking about halftime of the football game for Monday Night Football, or are you talking about halfway through the show? And it was clearly, if you did look at the correlation there, the segment happened during the halftime of Monday Night Football, so that's what they were going for there. But it made no sense in going in that route either. The segment, the promo that they performed out there in the ring during the segment was really good. Of course, Paul Heyman's great on the mic, and then actually, the back and forth between Cena and Paul Heyman was really good as well. And then the subsequent brawl that you're supposed to get between Lesnar and Cena was also a really good one. I liked how they teased that it was pretty much just Brock Lesnar going to be dominant, and then Cena comes back in there. I felt that actually worked, and that was one of the few segments that I do feel worked on the show. Same with the Goldust, same with Goldust, Stardust, and then teaming them up with Cesaro and everything against Sheamus and the Usos. It was just pretty much a match in order to have the match. It really didn't add anything to both of their feuds going into the pay-per-view. I've really been enjoying the Goldust and Stardust heel turn in there, and their storyline building up against the Usos. That's been enjoyable. But they decided not to finish anything off this week and go into the pay-per-view. They kind of went with just this match. Obviously, Cesaro and Sheamus, they really haven't been building anything between them. It's just going to pretty much be a fun and entertaining match, but they haven't really done any kind of a good storyline around it. So we'll see how those matches go. But that's pretty much, like I said, the entire time you're not really getting much of a storyline build up with some of these matches, and in some cases they're building them way too quickly, like the Jericho and Orton feud. It doesn't feel like they should be having a match this soon. They kind of threw it together at last minute to put these two in the ring together. You'll get a fun and entertaining match out of it, but the story build up wasn't really much of anything, if anything at all. Honestly, you feel like Randy Orton should still be feuding with Roman Reigns, and Jericho should still be feuding with Bray Wyatt going into these pay-per-view matches. They kind of having the blow off there instead of having the blow off earlier. And then, you know, the build-up between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns was so rushed just to do just to get a match, and now you have a match for the pay-per-view, and then you do the match on Monday Night Raw. And it had a clean finish, no run-ins, no nothing. Roman Reigns wins. Now you've basically thrown out, like, they're still going to have the match at the pay-per-view, but you pretty much kind of thrown any purpose of wanting to watch the match at the pay-per-view because you already have Roman Reigns win cleanly. It feels like this is the spot you would have done a run-in versus, you know, the waiting for the pay-per-view. And we'll see what they do with the pay-per-view match itself, but this feud was built up way too quickly in that sense. And, you know, the way they closed Raw this week, I'll give it this. It was a little bit weird with what they decided to finish off the show with the whole Mark Henry rallying America deal, you know, with his feud with Rusev and everything. Like I said, it's just a little weird that they would end it with that. You would have felt like they would have tried ending the show with Brock Lesnar and John Cena, but they had to go the whole route of, oh, you got till halftime type deal, and then halftime happens, so they do the segment. So the segment itself was really good. You know, you got a different side of Mark Henry, one that you typically don't get to see in his character development, you know, talking about what he had done with the Olympics and everything. And then, of course, you're going to have Rusev and Lana come out there and interrupt the entire thing. And, you know, and her continuing on with the degrading of what Mark Henry did, you know, during those Olympic Games, how he lost and how Russia was better and everything like that. It was a really good segment and fun and entertaining, and actually built something into this match and something to look forward to into watching Rusev and Mark Henry at the pay-per-view itself. It was just weird that they, you know, ended the show with it in that sense, because obviously they're not building this as the main event for the pay-per-view, but you know, the Raw right before the pay-per-view, they are the main event of the show. That was the only thing weird about that, but otherwise really good segment. So overall, just really weird Raw, and weird build up going into the pay-per-view. You got so many different matches that are going to be, you know, fun and entertaining to watch on the pay-per-view, but you're not really given much of a storyline. Or if you're given a storyline, it's honestly not a very good one at this point. You do have a couple good storylines going into the pay-per-view itself, but, you know, overall I feel like they've kind of messed up going into the Night of Champions pay-per-view. Just, you know, in most of their build up and most of their matches and reasonings why they're building these matches to begin with. The matches themselves should be fun and entertaining to watch, but otherwise you don't really get a sense of really wanting to care about most of these matches going into the pay-per-view. So that's my review this week for Monday Night Raw, and I thank you guys for watching.